For the next couple slides, I kind of want to illustrate what different lines of reasoning might look like. They are not in any way the only two formats to use, but they're just two ways of linking the ideas so you get that cohesive paragraph. So we're going to talk about a deductive claim paragraph and an inductive claim paragraph. So when we talk about deductive claims, this is probably the format you're most familiar with. Magic 11 follows this format. I prefer this format just because my mind is very logically focused. And really a deductive body paragraph is just one that starts with the claim and then builds the argument. Okay, so I have it kind of in an inverted triangle format where you start with the claim, which is this big, this general statement of the argument, which is probably explicit. And then you narrow it a little bit to the specific cases or evidence and instance that you can use to prove that claim. And then you bring in the commentary where you talk about those specifics and narrow it even further to explain why does that event prove the claim? Why does that specific case? And kind of start with the claim and build it a little bit at a time. So an inductive an inductive body paragraph is really the opposite. An inductive paragraph you might see more so when we're reading texts. A lot of skillful writers don't necessarily need that deductive format to make sure that they're writing comprehensively and covering everything. And they rely more so on inductive format or structure. And that just means that you kind of start with the facts, provide the commentary to expand and explain, and then you end with, therefore, here's my claim. That's a structure I think that is used often in scholarly writing in articles and essays. They don't come out and say their thesis necessarily at the very beginning, like we would in, say, a research essay, but really skillful writers are able to kind of present this evidence and kind of explain as they go until they get to the conclusion that they're making. And that's an inductive structure. Now, I say that these are both types of claim development, but you can also use these terms in describing an entire argument. If it's a deductive argument, they're going to state the thesis and then develop it. Whereas in an inductive, they're going to talk with evidence and facts and commentary and end up with that thesis moment. As writers, for us, and we're learning writers and we're growing writers, deductive format makes a little bit more sense because if we have a strong claim that we start with and we have something to link back to, that cohesion piece is a little bit easier. But as readers, we do need to acknowledge that a lot of times skillful writers will use a more inductive approach.